Hi guys, it's me Nova, and we're going to have our second last lab on signals here and put it into perspective what this lab on signals is about so that you have an idea of what we're talking about here. An ongoing theme that we have in CS 330 is this idea of once we have two processes that were created using a fork, we have this situation where we need to know how can we communicate between these processes. And inter-process communication is what our goal is. Now, we've seen some ways of communicating between processes. We had in the system calls for I/O, we had a shared file that we wrote to and read from in a different process. We had the pipe slab where we sent things on the pipe and then we read information off the pipe. We saw sockets where we implemented a little chat program so we were able to communicate over the internet. And with threads, we found it was different because with threads, we have some memory that we can share. So anything that's global or dynamically allocated gets shared amongst our various threads. So because of that, we can communicate using variables, but also because of that, we have an inherent problem, which is how do we share those resources without colliding with the work that some other thread has been doing? And one of the approaches was mutexes, which we looked at in the thread lab, and the other one is semaphores. Okay, so this lab is the last in this series of how to communicate between processes. And what we're going to see is that we can send signals to processes. So a parent can send a child a signal or vice versa. And we can also send signals to other unrelated processes. As long as we have their process ID, we can send them a particular signal. So what I'd like you guys to do now is I'd like you to try along just to make it a little bit more interactive. You can try this on your own machines at home. So what you'll do is you'll open a terminal either on a Mac or using PuTTY on a Windows, and you'll log on to Hercules, and then you'll log on to Linux machines using the commands that you guys have been using in the past. CS clients, CL115 to get the machines, and then SSH to one of the machines. Now, a couple of the machines might be turned off in that room. So if you find that when you do an SSH, it just hangs there, you'll want to do a Control C and try a different machine. So what you want to do once you're logged onto the Linux machines is you'll create and change into a new directory for this lab, and you're going to copy some code using this copy command. So copy/net/data FTP pub class 330 signals POSIX sample star and space and dot. You can use a tab key. Just be aware that signals is a capital S, POSIX is a capital S, and sample is also a capital S. Because we're going to be sending signals between two different processes that are unrelated, what I'm going to ask that you do is open another terminal where we'll be able to get our process IDs and send signals to a running process. And then what I'd also like you guys to do is have another terminal open where we take a look at the man pages so that you guys can learn how to read them and you know some information about signals. So what I'd like you to do is type man minus S7 signal, and it will open up into the man pages, and we'll pop into the next video in a second here.